रामायण। श्री सत्यनारायण महोदय रुड़की विश्वविद्यालयात् धातुविज्ञाने स्नातक पदवीं प्राप्तवान्। अयं महोदयः कोरोजन इंजीनियरिंग विशेषज्ञः तथा च पेट्रोलियम एंड केमिकल सम्बद्धासु संस्थासु कार्यम् अकरोत्। भारतस्य प्राचीन इतिहासस्य ज्ञानव्यवस्थाया च विषये अस्य महती रुचि वर्तते। यत् प्राचीनतमं महाकाव्यं वाल्मीकिरामायणं प्राचीनकालस्य धातून् वर्ण्यते। तस्मिन् महाकाव्ये विद्यमानानि वैज्ञानिक धातुविज्ञानस्य प्रमाणानि अद्यापि भारतस्य विश्वस्य वैज्ञानिक साहित्ये यथायोग्यं स्थानं न प्राप्नुवन् इति अयं महोदय विचिन्त्य श्री नवीन चंद्र महोदयेन वाल्मीकिरामायणस्य तथैव विशाल वैदिक साहित्यस्य च अध्ययनं कर्तुं निरचिनोत्। यत् धातुविज्ञानस्य प्राचीनज्ञानव्यवस्थानां विकासः कथं जातः, प्राचीनभारते धातु इतिहासस्य पुनर्निर्माणार्थं पर्याप्तसूचना उपलब्धा भवेत् वा इति। अस्य कार्यस्य समाप्त्यर्थं प्रायः 5 वर्षाणि यावत् समयः अभवत्। अत्र न केवलं भारतस्य प्राचीनधातुविज्ञानस्य वर्णनं भवति, अपि तु अस्माकं समृद्धसंस्कृतेः दर्शनम् अपि प्राप्यते। Now, I would invite Shri Satya Narain sir on stage.
Namaste, greetings to all. So at the outset, I will thank IIT Director, Deputy Director, Dr. Anil Gaurishetty, and Mr. G.K. Rastogi, and Dr. Surendra Kumar, former Professor in Chemical Engineering, for making possible the publication of our book from the portals of IIT Roorkee. I hope they continue to publish the books on Indian knowledge systems in future also, because that will help the spread of Indian knowledge system to youth who have the background, technical background. And people should come out of the hesitation of Sanskrit language, and they should try to enter into it. Nowadays, they should not worry, if they don't know Sanskrit. Nowadays, so many things are available, so they can definitely understand their subject matter and contribute to the spread of the Indian knowledge system. Now, here I am to give you an overview of a book entitled Archaeometallurgy of India from Rigveda to Vālmīki Rāmāyaṇa. So I am Satya Narain, and my co-author Navin Chandra, I miss him because he could not travel because of the health reasons. But he is a very distinguished metallurgical engineer of India. He is Best Metallurgist Award winner, which is a very rare thing, In IIT Roorkee, I think only 2 people have won this prize over a period of, let us say, 50 years or so. So he's very distinguished metallurgist of India. Whatever we have done here is as a simple metallurgical engineer. We don't claim any scholarship in Sanskrit. So our work can be refined by the people who know the Sanskrit. So first, this is a cover page of So this is a cover design. This cover design has got a lot of meaning. And this cover is designed by the design group. This cover of the book is designed at Design Studio, IIT Roorkee. It features a golden winged eagle fire altar built for the Ashwamedha Yajna performed by the King Dasratha. So this is the Garudo Rukma Paksho Vaitrigno Astadashatmak. This is a Vālmīki Rāmāyaṇa 1:14-29. The concentric circles of India's tricolors symbolize layers of Vedic civilization from Rigveda to Vālmīki Rāmāyaṇa over millennia. The Vedic fire altar shape and construction have deep meaning. According to Dr. Subhash Kar, some features of the Vedic fire altars symbolize the equivalence between the elements of macrocosm and microcosm. The emblem depicts the IKS of Indian knowledge system of geometry, metallurgy, and many other things. So here, the gold was considered a divine and auspicious metal, and it was skillfully shaped into the wings in an art form, So you can see that this emblem can become the logo for the Indian knowledge system with more creation, and the IKS people can consider it to use it as a logo for the IKS, with more creation. Now this book this book gives glimpses of great heritage of the Shruti text, that which was heard, and Smriti text, that which was remembered. The Shruti and Smriti texts are treasure trove of different domains of Indian knowledge system grown over a few millennia. The subject matter of the book is limited to the exposing the Indian knowledge system in the domain of metallurgy that dwells in Rigveda, late Vedic literature, and Vālmīki Rāmāyaṇa. So here we are going from Rigveda to Vālmīki Rāmāyaṇa. It was easy to, we have gone through the Rigveda because it is easily available online, and the Vālmīki Rāmāyaṇa also. But there was a lot of difficulty in getting the material on the late Vedic literature. So what we have done is we have used the McDonald and Keith Vedic Index, which gives the subject-wise, all the references. It was a great help to find the references for the metals and metallic object from the index, So it can be very useful to any field, This Vedic index is so useful. Now this book is structured into 5 parts and includes 29 chapters. So part 1 has the 2 chapters. So first chapter is about the core resources. So I have given a brief introduction of our heritage Sanskrit text, because it is very unfortunate that we don't know even the names of our heritage texts, And I was one of them. So I myself learned it, and then I briefly described it. Then the second is, most of the time what happens is, anything you do on Indian knowledge system, there is always a counter argument. It is not scientific. It is not scientific. People reject without reading it. So we have given the frameworks for the study of this work, which I will describe later on. Part 2 has 2 chapters of Rigveda. So in Rigveda, only 2 metals were known, gold and iron. So one chapter is in gold, metallurgy, and the second is on iron metallurgy. Now part 3 has 3 chapters. So by that time, 4 more new metals were discovered. So it has got a gold metallurgy, iron metallurgy, and 1 chapter on 4 new metals. That is a silver, copper, tin, and lead. So these 4 metals were discovered. So there is a 3rd chapter on that. And Vālmīki Rāmāyaṇa has 18 chapters. So because Vālmīki Rāmāyaṇa gives lot of, so I will just say that 1 chapter we have given on a broad overview of the Vālmīki Rāmāyaṇa, and the 2nd chapter we have given the origin of metals. So this involves a very high science, how the metals originated on Earth's surface. It continues to be a modern subject of modern science also. So here we have given the origin of metals, and this, rather we have given a theory of the metal of origin based on the decoding of the 2 legends, which are given in Appendix A and B. Then there is a chapter which gives the occurrence of metals and minerals in Ramayanic period. We have given about 30 texts, and the occurrence of metals and mineral is described very precisely in the Vālmīki Rāmāyaṇa for the known metals. Similarly, the next chapter is on a craftsman and craftsmanship of metals in the Ramayanic period. And from chapter 12 to 13, chapter 12 to chapter 18 refers to the use of the gold, because there is so much textual evidence available for the gold, So gold, there are ornaments for the men, women, animals. Then there is a decoration of the, decorative uses of gold for chariots, for weapons. And there are some unusual application of gold are also there, like using the, for the feathers of arrows, made of the gold. There is a gold dip coating applications. So all those things are we covered, giving the text. And then finally, based on this text, we have developed the archaeometallurgy of gold in the Ramayanic period. And the other chapter is the archaeometallurgy of copper, tin, and bronze in the Ramayanic period. And the another chapter is the archaeometallurgy of iron in the Ramayanic period. And then there is one special chapter which has got a relevance today, is the concept of high material sciences in the Vālmīki Rāmāyaṇa. So to say, it has a concept of the space metallurgy, which I will give details later on. Now the part 5 of the book is relative chronology. So here there are 4 chapters. The archaeometallurgy of India in the Vedic civilization. We have consolidated what was known in the archaeometallurgy. Then we have given the archaeometallurgy of the Indus Valley civilization. Indus Valley civilization metallurgy is dated, known. There are archaeological evidence for it. So then we compared these two, Indus Valley civilization and the Vedic civilization metallurgy, and tried to find out which is older. So this is studied in the relative chronology of the Vedic civilization, and based on our work, we have tried to create a grand narrative of the the ancient metallurgy of India, from Rigveda to Vālmīki Rāmāyaṇa and going to the Iron Age. Now, Here, since a lot of Sanskrit scholars are there, I refer to the Appendix A. Actually, Appendix A is a legend of the union of Shiva and Uma in Vālmīki Rāmāyaṇa, Balkanda. It unravels a cosmic event of massive bombardment of meteorites on the early earth. So I invite the Sanskrit scholars to see our decoding and see how much science is preserved. High science is preserved. Science which is relevant to the modern time is, it is capable of giving input to the modern sciences there. And similarly, the another legend is the Kartikeya birth in the Vālmīki Rāmāyaṇa unravels a comet impact event in the history of the Earth's evolution. See, a lot of literature is there where the cosmic, how the cosmos is created in Indian heritage text, but how the Earth is evolved, early Earth is evolved, that type of work is there in this two legends. You know. So these legends definitely are very, those who are interested in doing the research on it, these are very important legends. Then Appendix C gives a glossary of the various Ramayan terms, so that the context is appreciated. The book contains the original textual metal evidence in Devanagari letters with English transliteration. Eminent scholars' translations are used for the Vedic text. However, Vālmīki Rāmāyaṇa text meaning is given in free-flowing English, best understood by us, rather than the literal translation. In addition, the cultural context is described and the keywords or phrases of the text related to metals and metallic objects are shown in bold letters to develop the reader's interest in reading the original Sanskrit text and appreciating the beauty of Sanskrit words used for metals and metallic objects. So, now we have given, as I said, we have given a conceptual framework for studying this. In the first framework, Vedic civilization is conceptualized to have evolved in three interlinked layers: Rigveda, after that late Vedic literature, and after that Vālmīki Rāmāyaṇa. Yesterday, Professor Ram Subramaniam showed you the various references in Vālmīki Rāmāyaṇa. So they refer all the four Vedas by name. So, and the late Vedic literature refers to Rigveda. So the sequence nobody can question. So this is a, now the time is 5 minutes. I can't do. Then the archaeometallurgical, aspects, these are defined in this case: metal origin, metal resources, metal production, metal fabrication, metal object. So all the textual data has been mapped in this. And then based on this, we prepared the overall, this is, how we have studied the subject. I will not be able to go through it because of the time shortage. But I come to the known metals of antiquity in the Vedic civilization. So these are the known metals. Gold, in Rigveda, they are used by the word Hiranya, Rukma. These are the two words. Hiranya was the gold which was recovered from the river sands, and the Rukma was from the hard rocks. So there is a text in this which shows how people were excited to find the first time the Rukma gold. Late Vedic literature, these two names continued, Hiranya and Rukma, but they found the new type of golds, which are Harita, Swarna, and Jatrupa. And in Ramayana, there are, all the 14 names are there for the gold. So these are different type of golds. having different composition, different color, and every word has got a meaning. Now the iron is a IS. This IS word, as the Aryan words have distorted the history of India, so is the case with the IS word, because the IS has been interpreted, all Jalpa and Vitanda type of Tarka given. So I will go to the meaning of the IS, because this is one of the main work in this. So the meaning of the IS in Rigveda, the people have given various meaning to that. Meaning of IS in Rigveda, metal. Somebody said it is a metal, generic term for metal. Somebody said, we have quoted the name of the scholars who have said so. Meaning of IS in Rigveda, copper. Meaning of IS in Rigveda, bronze. Meaning of IS in Rigveda, iron. Meaning of IS in gold. Meaning of Krishna is dark metal. Meaning of the Shama and Shama is less dark metal. So these are the various prevailing views. And I will quote the Max Muller. The Sanskrit IS means only, certainly iron in the later periods of literature. And there is a passage in the most ancient hymns of Rigveda where it must mean iron. We are justified in stating, again, Max Muller is saying, positively that at the time of Rigveda, besides silver or gold, a third metal was known, named IS. But whether the name referred to copper, iron, or metal in general, there is no evidence to show. I happened to see the CBSE book. They have made a statement that most scholars believe that IS means copper, which is, I will prove is not correct. So meaning of the IS is an important riddle of ancient metallurgy of India that needs to be resolved. Supposingly you are able to say very clearly that in Rigveda we knew only two metals, and the IS meaning, I will show you. So for the first time, the present work deciphers the two passages, 6.35 and 647.10 from the oldest book, 6, that show the true meaning of IS in Rigveda. These passages have a phrase, ISO dharam, which Western scholars have translated as the edge of weapon or whetting the edge of weapon. In his commentary, the great scholar Sainacharya gave a unique insight into the meaning of the ISO dharam in verses this, as showers of the iron swords and javelins on to the earth. His insight led us to discover the true meaning of the IS in Rigveda. We have interpreted that instead of this swords and spears falling from the sky, the hymn refers to a cosmic event in the past where iron meteors rained down on earth as a glory to Agni Devta. Another hymn is a prayer to Indra Devta seeking protection from similar cosmic event involving iron meteors crashing on earth in the future. Thus, our work for the first time deciphers the true meaning of IS as a meteoric iron stone that came to the earth from the sky. This has such a high potential to change the chronology of India. Now, this hymn 6.35 is given, and we have interpreted the meaning. I invite all the Sanskrit scholars to have a look on it and see, Okay. So then there is another verse which we have given it. I have to. Then we are giving the various argument. The Rigveda uses the word asman to refer the stone. And this Avestan Yasna translated iron mortar. The word IS seems to have been derived from the word asman. If linguistic experts agree, then the meaning of IS as a meteoric iron stone is self-evident. Rigveda has many passages to show Rigvedic people imagine their deities resided in a fortified forts and homes built from ice. Later, they started to use the iron stones to fortify the walls, home forts, pieces of meteoric iron stone. This evidence confirmed the ice was found and sourced in the form of stone pieces. Then, the term ice consistently referred to iron objects in the post-Rigvedic period. It is really surprising or ridiculous, I should say, that ice in the late Vedic literature is iron. But it is not iron in the Rigvedic period. They are making joke of our rishis, Whenever rishi has given a name, it was always having a meaning. So this word, I will just take this. The Vālmīki Rāmāyaṇa provides a clinching textual metal evidence which shows that the ice means, meteoric iron stone. So if you see this one, this refers to the stones, meteoric iron stone, And here, it describes the mine which had a strange type of stones, ayomukha, or strange metallic iron stones. I show you how they look like. So this is a meteoric iron stone. And similarly, here I will just finish with the IS because time is short. So this verse, when you see meteoric iron is a iron nickel alloy. It is readily forgeable. And its pieces can be run. So when you forge it, then some pictorial pattern comes on the surface, of the polished. So this gives the verse qualified to be recognized as a clinching scientific evidence. These two verses. This gives a, Wittgenstein pattern is given the name of this. So these two verses qualify to be recognized as clinching scientific evidence, confirming that IS meant meteoric iron stones consistently, continually throughout the Vedic civilization and establishment of the unique archaeometallurgy of meteoric stone in ancient India. So this is a very important evidence. And this is how it looks like, the Wittgenstein structure comes. And the king Tut has a dagger which is made of the meteorite iron, and they also, show this pattern. Now, to summarize, meaning of IS is not metal. Meaning of the IS is not copper. Meaning of IS is not bronze. Meaning of IS is not gold. Meaning of IS is not smelted iron. See, as soon as they say iron, then they correlate it to 1200 BC. They say Rigveda was composed in 1200 BC when they are in the Iron Age. Meaning of IS is meteoric iron stone. Meaning of Krishna IS is a dark meteoric stone, and Shama or Sama IS is a the less dark stone. So the translation of Krishna IS as a dark metal is wrong. It is a dark meteoric iron stone. Now I just finished. This is an example of the overall perspective of iron metallurgy. So wherever there is evidence, it is written known. Wherever we have inferred, we say inferred, known. So we created an overall metallurgical perspective. Similarly, we created an evolutionary perspective of iron metallurgy in the Vedic civilization. And I just like to mention this evidence. See, this is shows the scientific acumenship of the ancient Indians, and it shows that the geothermal origin of the metals. Now I can't explain in detail. Now this is an example of these verses qualified to be recognized as the first and most ancient textual reference to the concept of the heat treatment in the world. We should claim it for a sword, I can't explain. And I have been corrosion engineer throughout my life, 50 years. So can you imagine that I found the reference to the word corrosion in the Vālmīki Rāmāyaṇa? And this is the first, the most ancient text. Vālmīki qualifies for we should claim it. The verse qualifies for recognition as the first and most ancient text referred to corrosion in the world. Now the concept of the high material sciences, I think this is relevant. I would like to take little time. No? Okay. So I just conclude my talk. Anyway, you can take the copy of my talk, I think from here. The metal evidence data from the Rigveda to Ramanic period showed no irrationality with the basic modern metallurgy. This work may inspire young scholars with technical backgrounds to reconstruct the ancient metallurgy of India after the Ramanic period. The present work is an humble effort to resolve the riddle of relative chronology of the Vedic civilization. It is we have given a tentative hypothesis, The this Vedic civilization was far more ancient than the Indus Valley civilization. I was not able to discuss with you. It is recognized that additional textual, linguistic, climatic, cultural, and archaeological evidences to be obtained and studied to validate the proposed tentative hypothesis of transition epoch of native metallurgy collapse. We should showcase the scientific achievement of Indian ancient metallurgy in global platform forums, universities, and museums. ISRO should take the lead in constituting new alloys with super properties in space. Vālmīki Rāmāyaṇa provides a very clues, how to produce it. So, thanks very much. 1 minute. Thanks, and Om Namah Shivaya. I'm sorry, the time was very short. I could not do the justice with the.
Thank you. Before we go for high tea, there is an important announcement by the IKS division, for which I would like to call Professor Murthy on stage.
Namaste everyone. Good morning. And this is the last day before we part, and we'll meet again. I just wanted to make a few announcements. Yes. So I hope you enjoyed the National Youth Conference here. Hope it was something up to your expectations, that you came all over from different parts of the country. Before we part, I wanted to talk about something else. So when we talk in the Bharati Jnana Parampara, the kind of pedagogy that we have is pretty diverse. We have catered to all kinds of learners. And one of the things that we have done in our Bharatiya Parampara is that we have taught it through many mediums. It was not always, because we say, Acharya Padamadhatte, Shishyam Padam Sumedhaya, Padam sa Brahmacharibhya, Padam Kalak Kramenacha. What is taught in the class through Acharya is only 1 quarter. And then another quarter is Sumedhaya, based on our own self-study. And then Padam sa Brahmacharibhya, there is also this component of peer learning that we do. And Padam Kalak Kramenacha, there is also this experiential learning that we get through time. And as a part of that, all our civilizational thinking and even the activities that we had were basically based on that. And I hope you recognize what is put up there on the stage, on the screen. So it is immediately, any reactions? What? Psalm CD, snakes and ladders kind of a thing. But you see, snakes and ladders is a deracinated version of what was an original game. Of one of the versions is put up there. What is a deracination? We do this in biology, a little bit in botany. You take a plant, remove all the soil from its roots and then put it somewhere else in a culture. That is deracination. So essentially, if you take a person, remove all the cultural parts of significance that connects that person to the culture, and then you transform them. That is essentially what our modern education is doing to us most of the time. And what this does is it actually reconnects you back. So that is what is an humble effort. I just want to take 2 or 3 minutes explaining what this game is about. So one thing that you see is you don't see any ladders, right? What you see is ropes and snakes. I'll come to the significance of that. Excellent. Yes. So you don't see any ladders. You just see ropes and then snakes. And then another thing, few details. Normally when you, and most of these games, I would like to call them as play-based experiential learning. These are plays. हम जब खेलते हैं, क्रीडा नहीं होता. Youth क्रीडा होता है where the aim is to win. But in a क्रीडा, so we all play, right? We have played in our childhood and we play that gully cricket or whatever. What is the aim there? It's just having fun. And we learn through that. Most of the Indian games are designed that way. So there is that kind of a thing. So here, when you look at this, there is some design. So when you look at the normal snakes and ladders, it goes typically as a 10 by 10 matrix of 1 to 100. And the goal is you start at 1 and you reach 100. And whoever goes there wins, right? This is completely opposite to that. What this game is talking about is essentially, if you see, it goes from 1 to 9 here. And then there are 8 rows here, 9 columns, and then 8 rows. This 9 represents, and 9 8s are 72. And if you see this game, if you start here, can you end it here? You can never end it. So this seems like an infinite game, right? That is where this whole cycle, concept of cycles that we have in our Bharati Jnana Param comes in. It's already embedded in this game. This game, rather than sermonizing about ethics, moral behavior, it actually teaches you through play. And what is this? How does it teach? Even in the coding, you see this 9 that represents 9, basically the body. Why 9 represents a body? It is called, body is kind of compared to a city with 9 gates. Navadwara Puredi. So 9 basically orifices. If you look at eyes, ears, and all that, if you count, there are 9. So that is essentially the representation of a body. Now, what are these 8 here? Starts with Bhuloka, Bhur, Bhuvas, Svah, Maha, Chanaha, Tapaha, Satyam, and then on top of that is Vaikuntha. So essentially, there's also the spine representation of the 7 chakras and the Vaikuntha on top. That essentially is that representation of that. 9 8s are 72 as per Jyotisha. 72 years is the complete Ayurveda. That is what that is. And then if you look at this game does not start at 1. This game starts in Vaikuntha because this is a game designed to teach the Advaita kind of philosophy, kind of that, and how to live based on that. So what is it teaching is, in the Vaikuntha, there is no separation between the Jivatma and Paramatma. One version of Advaita is not really that technical, but more of play. So when there is no separation between the Jivatma and Paramatma, we stay there. And then you have to throw the dice until you get a 6, you don't move. So you move only when you have 6. What is 6? You see, there is moha. So when there is moha, that cloudiness, fogginess of ignorance, there is a separation between the Jivatma and Paramatma, and we start the game. And we go through the life, and it is always like a football game. You never go from this to that goalpost. How do we go? Pass it, and then go through that, right? And essentially, this is that journey that is being represented here. If you look at the first 18, starts with Janma, ends with Harsha. That is the youth conference subtopics, you guys. It is the Brahmacharya Ashrama where you have that bubbly, youthful energies to take forward in life, take you forward from the Janma to Harsha. Then what happens is we enter the Grihastha Ashrama with the firm resolve to do Karma Yoga, where it is our duty to support our families. We do work so that we can do it in a dharmic way to support our families, society, and do the karma, and take care of our parents, families, and children. And then the end of that should lead to Spashta Chetana. Spashta Chetana is the clarity in thought. That what is this world about? What am I? We have tried to figure that out. Then that is essentially the end of the Grahastha-ashrama. Then we proceed on to Vanaprastha-ashrama, seeking jnana. And there, Vanaprastha ends in bhakti, and then bhakti will take you to mukti. That essentially is the 4 Purusharthas encoded in this game. If that does not happen, there is always these things. And then one more thing, if you look at these dharma, let's look at this dharma in 22. There is a rope that will take you to subuddhi. So if we do dharma in the physical domain, it leads to subuddhi, the mental domain. And then if you want to go to sukha, sukha loka, which is a loka of happiness, sukha, then you cannot do that. If you are in durbuddhi, you have to go above that and then cross it. If you ever go to durbuddhi, it will bring you down. What this is telling you is there is no way you can go to sukha loka if you have durbuddhi. It will always bring you down. And this is how it goes. And then also another thing, if you see, there is adharma and sudharma. Adharma is a snake that can bring you down to moha, and sudharma is a rope that can take you to tapoloka. But then they are two very close things. And then similarly, you have avidya and suvidya. And many such things are there. Kusangati and susangati. Bad friendship and a good friendship. But these are very, very close. Why are they so close? They're close because in life, it is very difficult to distinguish between these two choices. And for that, we need viveka, the discerning mind of buddhi. That is what we pray for in our Gayatri Mahamantra. Hi yo yonah prachodayat. And so there are many, many such things. If you look at this one, Himsa, for example, it is surrounded by all the 5 Panchamahabhutas. Prithvi, Jala, Akasha, Vayu, Tejoloka, Agni. And if you do Himsa to them, essentially we come to Naraka. Similar things are there in this entire game. And we from the IKS division are basically trying to popularize this. So there is also a game. Now you can download that from the Google Play Store. It is available in 8 different 8 Bharatiya Bhashas, in addition to English. There you can see for each cell, you'll get the description of that term, what is the story behind it, and so on and so forth. All you have to do is reflect and play this game. And as a parting gift, we have printed these games of the Buddhi Yoga for you. And all the registered participants, my request is to please go and collect it from the registration IKS desk that is there next to the Sanskrit Bharati bookstall here in the exhibition hall. So with that, and hope to see you very soon in another place. Also, please note your calendars. Will be very soon announcing the Bharati Jnana Kumbha Mela in October, very soon. So thank you. Namaste.
We are running short of time. All of you are sincerely requested to take tea for 20 minutes and come back. We have 2 lectures. One by Professor Raghavendra Rao. He is a director for Central Council for Research in Yoga and Naturopathy, and who is a sponsor for this IKS conference also. It will be a pleasure to listen to him. And then we have a small talk by Smriti Adinayanji, followed by valedictory session. So all of you are requested to stay till valedictory session. But very important announcement: those who are staying in KIH, Coastal International House, small inconvenience because today is the date of checkout, and the checkout time is 12 o'clock, and valedictory session is going to end by 2 o'clock. So please go to KH for 5 to 10 minutes, take out your luggage, keep in the reception, and check out the room, because someone else may check into the room. So the checkout time is 12 o'clock. So please check out the room and keep your luggage. There is no issue. Keep in the reception, and after valedictory session is over, you can take the luggage and then you can proceed to your next place. Thank you so much.